what's actually going on at Man United? I've just watched the game against Galatasaray. They've just been beat again, 3-2. That follows the league defeat against Palace, 1-0. And, I mean, if you listen to too much Gary Neville, then obviously the Glazers are the first point of blame, which makes sense. Look, I'm not a Man United fan. I'm a Liverpool fan, so I'm trying to come at this from an outsider's point of view, an unbiased opinion. The Glazers, I think you've got to look at Liverpool and you've got to look at Man City. Man City seem like they're a perfectly run club, barring the potential charges that are against them. Liverpool, they haven't got the greatest owners, but those two clubs have world-class managers. And there's not an abundance of world-class managers out there at the minute. That's why Liverpool and Man City have been successful. Not so much Man City, but Liverpool especially. That's why we've been successful in the last sort of 5, 6 years, 7 years since Klopp came in. Because he's world class, and there's no denying that. But when there's not an abundance of world class managers out there, you need the right structure within a football club. The last time we had a world class manager was Alex Ferguson. He worked under the Glazers, and he was successful under the Glazers. We've had Louis van Gaal, who, he's a top manager. I wouldn't call him world class. They've had Ole, they've had Mourinho, Ralph Rangnick. And Ralph Rangnick probably called it the best, to be honest. He wasn't afraid to put it out in the public domain, the issues at hand at Man United. And obviously it stemmed from the top, the Glazers. And obviously a lot of Man United fans want to get rid of the Glazers. They want them to sell the club completely. Which I understand. You need good owners. You need backing in the transfer market. The problem can't solely be put on the owners. No matter how much money you spend, you can't just buy league titles. You need the infrastructure. You need the right players for your club. The right players for the manager's style of football. Erik ten Hag, I think he's a good manager. He did well at Ajax. Again, not a world-class manager. And he has to take some of the blame for what's going on at United at the minute, really, as well as the players. I look at the Man United team, and obviously being a Liverpool fan, I compare it to a Liverpool team, and Liverpool are a team. Man United seem to be individuals, and that's my biggest gripe with Man United at the minute. You look at the players that play for Man United. And start off with the captain, Bruno Fernandes. He's a good player. He's a top player. But he's a diva. And his arms are always up in the air. He's always crying. He's always on the floor. For me, that's not the guy you want to lead a club like Man United. You don't want a captain like Bruno Fernandes, because for me, he doesn't inspire. He doesn't inspire. If I was playing on a football pitch with Fernandes, I wouldn't be inspired by him. Casemiro is probably the only one that I would be inspired by. I think Casemiro should be captain. But it's not just Fernandes. Look, I see clips of Marcus Rashford, and I know last season he's had an unbelievable season. But since he was breaking through as a 17-year-old, he's so inconsistent. He'll have one good season and then he'll have two poor seasons, and this is a poor season this year. And like I say, I see clips of him all over Twitter, all over YouTube. He doesn't chase a ball. He doesn't press. It's like when Man United don't have a ball, he's non-existent. And look, I don't know if that's one of the things Ten Hag has said to Rashford. All I can put my finger on is that Ten Hag has said to him, look, when we don't have a ball, save your energy. Don't chase down. Don't close down. Don't tackle. Don't do anything. But when we've got the ball, that's when you show the bursts of speed and you really go at defences. That's all I can think. You've got Anthony who he's been described as a YouTube footballer, and I completely get that. I look at boxing, where take Ryan Garcia for example. I know he's got a YouTube channel, and it seems like his main focus is to be a star within social media, to be a star, and then boxing comes second. I sort of get that feeling from Anthony. It's like he just wants to be the world's greatest, and that's not a diss, because obviously that's what you've got to aim for as a football player. But he hasn't got the talent. He hasn't got I'm not going to say he's not got a work rate, because I do think from what I've seen of him, he does work hard, but there's just not enough end products from him. But he just strikes me as a diva, like Fernandes. But you've also got to look at the manager. Now, I don't think Erik ten Hag is the problem. nor getting rid of him would be the solution. And I say this because you've had top managers come in Van Gaal, in Mourinho, who have still not managed to be successful at United. They've been considered flops. And I think getting rid of Erik ten Hag, there's no, like I say, there's no availability for a world-class manager to come in, like a Klopp, like a Guardiola, who will win regardless of owners, regardless of what's going on at the club. But a couple of points that I think go against Ten Hag. He came in and he basically forced Ronaldo out of the club. And the season before, Ronaldo finished top goal scorer for United. I think 24 goals in the league as a 37-year-old. And look, that's phenomenal. I mean, there's players in the prime that don't hit those sort of numbers. He scored more goals than Harry Kane that year. And then the season after, Ten Hag gets rid of him. And there's arguments that Man United are more of a team without him and he was too selfish of a player. But I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing it. And the second point is David De Gea. I know David De Gea was prone to a lot of mistakes. And look, Man United are a massive, massive team. And there's a lot of pressure on these players. David De Gea has shown over the years that he is a top goalkeeper. And quite frankly, I find it astonishing that nobody's signed him up. He's still there on a free transfer. But David De Gea got 17 clean sheets last season. And I know Ten Hag is trying to play a certain brand of football. He wants to pass it out from the back. But who are you passing it to? He's signed a Norner who, and don't get me wrong, he's fantastic with his feet. He doesn't save anything. So he doesn't stop the ball from going in the net. And he's playing this passing out from the back tactic. But they haven't got the defenders to play this tactic. So Onana's wasted. He might as well have kept with De Gea. And also what I've noticed with Man United is when the defenders get the ball, and even some of the midfielders, it's like they've been told to go back to Onana to play out from the back. With De Gea, they didn't pass it backwards as often. They were trying to go forwards. And I think that's obviously a big part of it as well. And look, I'm not gonna go into the Sancho situation because I don't think Sancho has been good enough at Man United for him to be spoke about alongside De Gea and alongside Ronaldo. But I just get this vibe that Erik ten Hag, he wants everybody to know that he's in charge. And I think that was an element of why Ronaldo left. I think that was an element of why De Gea left. I think you look at Sancho, and it looks like he's not playing until he gets an apology, until Ten Hag gets an apology from Sancho. So that's only going to end in probably a transfer in January. So it's not really one thing. And obviously the results on the pitch are showing that there's more to this football club that's wrong than what's right. And look, I've as a Liverpool fan, obviously, look, we've just been through the whole Tottenham scenario with the VAR. And I've sort of got a newfound respect for a lot of the United fans because they've obviously backed Liverpool in this sort of saga that's ongoing, and I never sort of expected that from the fans. I think there's a mutual respect between the fans now, which probably wasn't there 10, 15 years ago. And that's sort of why I wanted to make this video. I just wanted to sort of have a conversation about what I think is wrong at Man United based on what I'm seeing from an outsider's point of view. Like I say, I don't know the ins and outs of the club. I don't know what's going on in the boardroom to the finer details, but it just feels like there's not one aspect of that club that's right. And don't get me wrong, the media play a big part, but I think, look, there's so much pressure on Ten Hag, there's so much pressure on the players. Obviously the two biggest rivals are the two most successful teams in the last sort of 5 years in the Premier League, and look, barring last season for Liverpool, it's been a two-horse title race for five years now. So I think there's a lot of pressure on Man United to get it right. I don't think changing the manager is going to solve those problems. Even with a sale of a club, I think it would still take time to solve the problems, but there is a lot wrong. In my opinion, he shouldn't have forced Ronaldo out the door, he shouldn't have forced De Gea out the door. I'm sure there's going to be Man United fans that disagree with me. You're allowed to do that. Get involved in the comments and let me know your thoughts. But yeah, just from an outsider's point of view, it's a tricky one, and I genuinely, not genuinely, because I don't hope Man United get back to winning titles and whatnot, but it's sad to see. It's sad to see that United are in this sort of rut. But listen, we've been through it as Liverpool fans for the last 30 years until Klopp comes in, and there is light at the end of the tunnel, even when it doesn't feel that way. But yeah, I think there's a lot that needs to be changed at that club. It probably does start with the owners. They need to probably get rid of a club in the summer, if not sooner, and then really start building from the inside. And Ralph Rangnick, I like Ralph Rangnick. I think they should have kept him on board as in some capacity as a director of football, because he knew exactly what needed to be changed in that club. He got it, and yeah, that's just my opinion, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.